Hey guys, my name is Joey Thomas, entrepreneur and small business educator here with 17 Hats. And today I am excited to have Samantha on with us. And Samantha is owner of tell me if I'm saying this correctly, Strazanac Solutions.
Strazanac Solutions.
Oh, I was so close.
But for what I do, it'll make sense why I have that name.
I was so close. Well, Samantha, welcome. And Strazanac, did I say it right? Strazanac Solutions. You guys are a marketing agency and also you do business consulting, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. And you are a 17 Hats ambassador. And and we love to do these interviews with our awesome ambassadors because hopefully for those of you who are watching out there, that this gives you a few nuggets that you can take and run with. And we know how hard it is and how much you have on your shoulders. And that's why we're here. And so Samantha.
Yo.
Welcome. So
hi.
Samantha, you know, I got to talk to you a little bit before we started doing this and everybody's in for a treat, I got to say right now, because Samantha is this bundle of energy and like joy just comes out of her as she's talking. So it's fun to talk. And so Samantha, I want to know a little bit about what you do. If you could just sum up what your business is about before we jump right in.
Sure. So as you said, we are a marketing agency and we do business consulting as well. Basically, we make sure your business is successful from all angles of the marketing campaign and your business, because just marketing is not going to get you very far if your business itself is not set up for success. So we make sure you're just ready to kick it.
Now, you know, when I asked you what your business is about, you were just ready to go, right? You already know you probably said that to clients 1,000 times, your elevator pitch, right? You going in somewhere, but I will say, you know, a lot of those who might be watching this today might have a hard time just really figuring out how to do that, how to present that. Did that take you a while to really figure out who you were as a business?
Years. We started out just doing social media marketing for small businesses. And as the company grew and as our clients came to us with problems, we realized we had solutions for their problems, which then not only added to services, but it added to a whole different area. I started as a freelance marketer and now I do business consulting for very, very large companies across the world. I have a few clients international. So it's not a big deal that when you're starting out, you haven't figured it out yet. Took me years, and heck, I'm still adapting. I'm still changing, still adding new services, realizing what our brand really is. It's not as drastic as it was at the start, but no, it's common. It's expected.
So it's okay to pivot, adapt, evolve, change directions completely 180 if that's where the road goes.
Absolutely. If I have clients that stop coming to me for social media, well, yeah, we started with social media, but if I don't have anybody who needs it, then why am I going to do it? So pivot 180, pivot 90 degrees, completely change it around, flip it upside down, backwards and all ways. It's okay. It's part of growth. If you are not willing to change and not looking for change, you're not going anywhere.
Awesome. And, you know, so you started in, let me see if I remember, 2016? 15. I was close. You started in 2015. And were you a business of one when you started?
Yeah, so it was just me. I originally started my company as a hobby, really. It was just me doing a little bit of freelance here and there. Really started my company so people would pay their bills. I did not hire as in an employee until, believe it or not, 2 years ago.
Nice.
I had contractors who would do certain things that I was not an expert in. I had a graphic designer who would do graphic design work on contract, but I didn't realize how badly I needed help until it was almost too late. I was drowning. I was too proud is really what it was. I didn't want to share the wealth. I wanted to keep it all inside. It's my name, but my company has grown exponentially in the past 2 years. We've gone from just me to we are currently hiring number 5. So that tells you that pride is probably the biggest thing that held my business back because I didn't want to ask for help. I didn't want to grow and I didn't want to be not just me.
And there's only so much you can do on your own. I mean, there's no way to duplicate yourself, duplicate tasks, right? Or even hand over things. To someone else that maybe you're not excited about.
Exactly. It's really hard to let go of a part of your baby, especially when your company is your baby, which as a small business owner, it should be.
Yeah.
So finding the right people is essential, but I will say it's not just finding the right people, but it's recognizing what you can relinquish without it affecting you too much. Delegation with strategy is a necessary part of business and business growth.
Now you say, and I love what you just said, delegation with strategy. So touch on what you mean by delegating with strategy, because we've all heard, hey, delegate, right? Outsource, duplicate yourself. But what's the strategy part that you're referring to?
Sure. So you need to realize what can you delegate and what you should delegate. So I could hire a team to do absolutely everything I do, and I can sit on the couch with my kid and just enjoy life. But that's not what I need to do. I need to delegate the things that I am not an expert in. If I am okay at graphic design work, great example, I'm going to delegate that to somebody who's an expert in graphic design work. If I have somebody who's an expert in, I don't know, videography, I'm outsourcing that to that expert. I'm adding in a video. For example, I have a videographer on my team because we had such a demand for videography from our clients that we added somebody on our team. I am great at content writing. Why am I going to give that to somebody else if that's what I'm an expert in? So you have to be strategic in what you're delegating out, not just doing it for the sake of I'm just getting it off my plate. There's got to be a rhyme and a reason for everything you take off your plate.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that. So, really kind of look at what do you want to get out of it in the end, right? What are the results that you want ultimately, and
Right.
make your decision based on those results, because even if you held on to it, those results may kind of be average or subpar,
You have to work backwards. You essentially have to work backwards.
Yeah.
Is having a work-life balance, or is being able to spend the majority of your day with your family more important than you doing all the work yourself? Cool. So what is it going to take for you to sit on your couch with your kids all day? What do you need to backtrack that will allow you to be on that couch? Start from the end and make your way back to the present that way. It sounds a little backwards, and I does, but it's the way that you get to where you want to be.
And that makes perfect sense. And it makes perfect sense when I just hear that from you. But in putting that into action is there's a lot of anxiety behind that. People, like you said, especially if you're in your first few years of business, we all try to avoid mistakes at all costs.
You have to make mistakes.
You have to make mistakes.
You have to. I joked for so many years, and I still do, that I'm a professional failure. I have literally been hired for jobs because they told me I fail at everything I do. But it's not about the failure. In truth, the only way a failure will ever be a failure is if you don't learn from it. So therefore, if a failure is a lesson, then it's really a success. So why are you looking at a mistake or a failure as something negative if you're going to gain something positive from it?
You know what? Let's dive into that for a second. You're talking about mistakes and failures. Now, for those who are watching and are in your first few years of business, I'm sure you have had a few of these, right? So Samantha,
yes,
in the first few years of business, not just for yourself, but for those who you have worked with who may just be starting, give me one or two common challenges in getting things moving along in a business. What are some pitfalls that people typically fall into?
Sure. So the first thing is that you have to set yourself up for success from the start. So that comes with the legal side. Are you filing your business properly with your Secretary of State? Do you know if you need an S corp, or do you need an LLC, or what do you need? 9 times out of 10, you should be working with a professional who that is their specialty. You want to bring on an accountant early on who can advise you on, based on your business, based on your model, what's the proper area to file yourself in legally. The legalities of starting a business aren't scary. They're just necessary to get it right the first time. Now,
It's
if you
so
don't,
boring though, Samantha. It's so boring.
It's so boring. And unfortunately, the most boring parts of the business are the thing you have to focus on first.
Yeah.
Because if you find yourself working on the fun part, like, oh, we got this product in development and it's awesome and we want to sell it, and people are already tagging us on Instagram that they want to buy it, that's great. But what happens when you have all these sales coming through? Do you have the fulfillment and the shipment handled? Do you have any sort of contingency plan? Do you have, what about bookkeeping? Have you thought all this through, or did you just go with, I have a cool product I want to sell? You got to pull back the excitement, unfortunately, when you're starting out the business. Once you get that excitement out of the way and you focus on the boring, and the boring is handled, and you got an accountant working on this, and the Secretary of State is approving your name, then you can go get all pumped up and excited and start posting all over. But you need to have your ducks in a row first. Always ducks in a row. I mean, it's necessary. You can't, it's easier. The best way I can phrase it is, it's easier to start with a successful plan than to try to set up a successful plan once you've already started.
Oh man, you don't have to tell me that twice. I have experienced that several times over. And, success is a double-edged sword, because it feels great to get moving. But once you're already rolling and taking in clients, you're so right. It's so hard to go backwards, because we're going to drop the ball somewhere now, because I have to not focus as much on a client, and I have to focus on doing this thing I should have done. I should have designed a logo long time ago, and I'm using clip art from Microsoft Word. this whole time I found a few old business cards that I created. It was a thing of beauty to look at. Okay. I used those, those party flyers that's really glossy on one side and with like UV coating. Yes. I printed, it was about this big. This was my business card. I had this colorful image on one side, a bunch of other random stuff on the other side. And I found it the other day and I was so proud. I was like, wow, look at how far I've come. So yes. Exactly. And so what's another thing? So getting set up.
Yeah. So getting set up is huge, but you need to make sure that you're needed. And I know that sounds like, oh, I want to be needed. It's like, no, your business needs to have a need. Is it a service that your community or your area or your whoever you're trying to target actually wants and needs? Is it a product that doesn't exist, or is it a product that you could do better? Is it that something that people are going to give a darn about, and in a positive way? And so market research is necessary. There are plenty of places where you can do beta testing and market research and take polls and do surveys to get a little bit of a concept. Or you can just go old fashioned and ask your friends, ask people go to those industries that you're looking to target and find out, if something like this existed, would you want it?
Yeah.
If there's no demand for what you're providing, why are you wasting your time on all of these additional steps if there's no need?
And what's the point of a solution without the actual problem?
It's nothing. There is no point.
There is no point, right? And and that's such a great thought to have, because there are so many businesses that we can just start. I mean, we can be anything, at any point, because it's a lot of these businesses aren't really that difficult to get started. But if you're right, if your area, if your community doesn't have a need for it, it's just a dream, without really an audience.
Exactly. And dreams are great, but if the dreams can't be achieved, that's all they're ever going to be, is a dream.
Yeah. So let's say now we're set up properly. We got all the boring legal stuff out of the way. We've defined the problem, and we now have a great solution for that problem. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. And crickets. Nobody knows I exist.
It's okay.
I am here. I'm trying to shout on the mountaintops, but no one's listening. So that this is what I really want to ask you about today is how the heck do we get people to know that we're here or market ourselves?
It's very easy. It's that old elementary school who, why, where, when, what, the whole W's. So you just said screaming from the mountaintops. Are you screaming to everybody? Probably. Because when I ask companies, hey, who's your target audience? And they go, well, everybody can use our product. That is the number one worst answer you could ever get because the answer is wrong. You need to know who your market is. And it might be all moms. That's great. Your product is for all mothers, but that's not true because not all mothers are the same and not all mothers need the same product. So you need to narrow it down. So you might need mothers who have children between a certain age, or you might need mothers who have sons, or you might need mothers who have children with learning disabilities, or you might need mothers who are single mothers. You have to narrow down your target audience before you do anything. The first step to figuring out how to get people to hear about you is knowing who should hear about you. And then once you've got your who, then you can perfect your well, why. Well, why does that who need to know about my what? Once you have the why, you can figure out the how because you already have the what. You already have your product that you perfected. So you've got I got my single moms. They need to hear it because it'll allow them to multitask. I don't know what the product is, but this is just an example. We need to go with single moms because it'll allow them to multitask and not blank. So this is how we're going to get the message across to them. We already know what they need. We just need to get the message to them. And the only way you can do that is knowing who.
So it sounds like to me, you can't just, so you have your who, but then you go into, so we know there's a problem. We know who we're now speaking to. Now, would you call that as part of a marketing strategy, or is that something you do before you do your marketing strategy? How can we think about that?
It's part of it because you can't just do it alone. Because the marketing strategy is the execution of the actual campaign. You want to have everything lined up. So what we'll do in your marketing strategy, and what I've always done, is I need to figure out who, what, where, when, why, and how. Once I have those, then the marketing strategy can be developed. And if you're doing this on your own, as long as you start with your audience, you can develop the concept of why do they need to hear about my product? Okay, well, I've got why they need it. Okay, how are we going to portray that message to them? Okay, this is how. Then you have to think about where. Well, where are those people? You would not be able to figure out the why or the where if you don't have the who. What you already have when you start your business. You know what your business is supposed to do or have a general idea. But until you have the who, you can't develop anything. You can't. No marketing strategy. If you were trying to get funding for your business, if you don't even have the who, the what, the where, the why, and the how, just the what, nobody's going to give money when you say, I have a business concept that's going to do blank.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's not going to get you very far. You need to dive deeper. The only way to dive deeper is by knowing your audience as in depth as possible. The more specific, the more narrow, the better the return.
Yeah, and you mentioned that the marketing strategy is the execution of the campaign. Can you now identify, because I know when I first started in business, I had no clue. Like, I knew marketing is, I'm just telling people about me, right? But I would have no clue then what's the campaign. When you refer to the campaign versus a marketing strategy, how do you differentiate the two?
So your marketing strategy is kind of like your all encompassing. It's the umbrella on the top, but underneath you have the same product, but you have a campaign right here for this audience and a campaign for this audience. And then from this audience, there's a campaign on this platform and this platform. And this is social, this is email, this is trade show, this is print. So it's like roots in a tree. And the strategy is just that umbrella that oversees the general concept. The actual campaigns are what you're doing. As I said, the strategy is what executes the campaigns. Yes, the umbrella is what keeps the campaigns working. The umbrella is what keeps the campaigns dry.
So can we do a little example here, like a little case study of, let's say an event planner came to you. Okay. An event planner came to you and they have multiple audiences. They have a wedding audience. They have a corporate audience. We'll just keep it two, right? And for the wedding audience, let's say that their target, they want more of the vendors to see them. And in corporate, they need to get to the right people at the company, right? And so when you have a single person like this with multiple audiences, would you consider those as your separate campaigns?
Correct.
Okay.
But you have two separate campaigns. You can't make both of them perfect at the exact same time. So what you need to decide, you have your wedding and you have your corporate, you need to say, and you need to ask yourself, which one can I get the quickest win from? Especially from a startup standpoint. If you just started your business, well, yeah, the higher dollar is usually going to come from your corporate. Corporate is way higher dollar than weddings. But weddings, you have a faster turnaround time. It's not, I mean, weddings planned out a year or so in advance. Corporate, you have to go through 15, 20 people years in advance. So you know the high dollars with corporate, but the quick wins, quick turnaround times are with events or with weddings. So we're going to want to focus our initial efforts on weddings, get weddings absolutely perfect and almost smooth sailing. So we have those quick wins coming in, those dollars pouring into the business so that we can focus more effort on the campaigns for corporate, which are those higher dollar. Higher dollar normally means more work, but it also means slower timeline.
And it's sustainable. It helps you scale your business in the long term, right? You have clientele that can last a long time instead of a clientele that's turning over constantly.
That's why those quick wins are important, because they keep the money rolling, but the corporate is going to be, maybe you do 1 or 2 corporate events per company per year. And weddings, you might do 1 wedding per bride forever, but you've got 50 brides coming at you, while in corporate, you've only got like 25.
So I love this idea. I love this thought of attacking those quick wins first and seeing some results, because, you know, to be honest, in a lot of new business, cash flow is a challenge. And a lot of times people hesitate to do marketing because they have a cash flow problem, right? And so would you recommend then, well, you just did, but if we're doing a Facebook ad set, for example, or a Facebook ad campaign, to put some effort and something into those quick wins first?
Absolutely, 100%. Not only will the quick wins bring you in the money faster, any money, especially when you're starting out, is better than nothing, but it's going to get you excited. It's going to give you that sense of momentum. And you know what? I can actually do this. Because it can be draining to wait for those long sales funnel processes with the corporate accounts, because there's so many hoops to jump through. But if you just landed 5 brides before you got a corporate, you're going to be really, really excited, because you've got money coming in and you clearly know what you're doing because people are hiring you. It's not as draining when you focus on the quick wins. And then once you do put your attention and your effort into those slower sales funnel kind of campaigns, you've already got the money coming in and the excitement that it's like, yes, I can do this.
I love it. I love it. I know you're not one to be short on excitement, Samantha. I will I will say that. So okay. I think that was pure gold. Thank you for that. And I know everyone listening can take a lot from that, because our goal here is to take a really complicated, you know, marketing can be complicated if you're getting really in depth, or especially if you're first thinking about it, and to break it down into simple thoughts, right? That we can all take some action on, or just have, you know, we need a beginning to our journey. Yes. Right. And I think that's a great place to start thinking about those things. And so let me ask you this. In doing all of that, as you've worked with several companies, brands over the last several years, when it comes to a marketing strategy, where do you get the most pushback? The place that people are afraid to take some risk, but you know that the risk is worth taking. Are there any areas that you find that's common?
So it's not necessarily that's common. It comes from the client's angle. When they don't understand the area that I'm looking to advise them to do for their marketing, people tend to be more weary. If you don't know how it works or what it is, you're less likely to want to do it. If it's search engine optimization, SEO, and you don't understand what that is or what those letters mean, you might think, no, that's a waste. Let's not do it. But you know Facebook works. But the problem is your audience isn't on Facebook. So we need to be on Google My Business, and we need to be doing paid per click advertising on Google, because your audience is searching on Google. They're not on Facebook, but you're more comfortable with Facebook. So that's what you want to do. And something I'm not afraid to give pushback. I've learned a lot of the times, and I'm sure the small business owners will agree, your client doesn't know what they need. They just know what they want. And be expected that you sometimes have to tell them what they need isn't really what they want.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. You said SEO, that's the same as KFC, UFC, all of that stuff, right? The SEO, no.
Exactly, just not as delicious.
Right. Okay, awesome. You know what? That's a really good point. It is true, when you're not as familiar with something, that's usually where the anxiety lies. But that's what you're there for, right? And so you're a 17 Hats ambassador.
Yeah.
And would you consider yourself a power user of 17 Hats?
My business would not have survived or made it without 17 Hats. It is literally at the core of my success.
Awesome.
I got it very early on in my business, and I honestly do not think the success of my business would be where it is today if I had not used 17 Hats since almost day one.
What is your favorite feature?
Oh, this is going to sound really, really lame. I love the contracting feature, because I can have my contracts laid out, and they've been written by my attorney, so my contracts are all the same, but I can have automated with 17 Hats what service did they select that they are retaining us for goes into the contracts. So it's automated and it's accurate, and I don't have to do a lot of legwork because it's automated.
That's awesome. That is not lame. Actually, the last person I asked that to, they said the quote invoice contract, they loved the flow of that.
It's fantastic. Well, it's not just the flow for me. It's the fact that I don't have to reinvent the wheel for every client.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. When you are a business owner, you're doing everything. And especially as your business grows and becomes successful, you don't have time for the tedious little things. I don't have time to copy and paste the same contract. I don't have time to copy and paste the same service for every person. Now I can customize it if they need a custom package, but as a whole, I don't need to reinvent the flipping wheel.
That's awesome, guys. For those of you who are listening, that alone, just the contract part alone, it seems so simple, like Samantha said, but it's one of those things. I will tell you, I am embarrassed to admit it, that I have probably lost several paper invoices that I used to keep nice and tidy. Oh, I had a file system. I had colorful tabs. I had dividers in drawers, but all it takes is one move to a new space or an office. It's gone. And years later, I'm finding like a folder. I just did a move recently. I'm like, oh, there's all my paper contracts, right? And so
the world is going digital. And
yeah.
I remember before I had 17 Hats, I used to make my contracts in Microsoft Excel so that I could have blocks. And then I'd set it, and then I'd export it to a PDF. And then I'd actually have to have them print it out and then sign it and then scan it back to me. Why don't you just click a button on 17 Hats? Like just one button. One button.
My first invoice had a carbon copy on the back. Okay.
You might have me there. You might have me there.
It did. I was so, man, when I first bought that tablet that had the carbon paper, because I remembered my dad in business had those at his office, and I felt so grown up. I was
I'm gonna use the
ready
word
to take
nerd.
money.
I'm going to use the word nerd. Like, who gets excited over carbon copy documents? Like,
Yes, they get to keep the yellow one. Right? And so that's awesome. Now, Samantha, I'll ask you one last question. When you're not making business dreams come true, where can people find you? What do you like to do? Tell me something quirky, different, fun, something that you like to do as a person, because you're not all business all the time, right?
I mean, I'd like to say I am, but that would be a bold lie.
Right.
I love to sweat and just get gross. So you will find me at the hot yoga studio.
Oh, now is this the one with the goats or without the goats?
Without the goats. You will
Okay.
definitely smell with the goats, but the hot yoga studios, it's like 100 degrees, the sauna. You're literally doing yoga in a sauna. And I'll sometimes do it with the weightlifting. So you can actually do hot yoga with weights. It's the best burn and the best sweat you will get in your life. And it is literally the most valuable workout ever. You feel like, yes, I earned this shower.
Well, I'm
So
going to
that's
tell you
just like,
something. I got an offer for you. It's 102 degrees here in Texas, and I got some weeds I need to pick in the yard. And I'm going to tell you the positions I have to get in. It's better than yoga. So if you are free and you enjoy that type of activity, come on down. Okay. And
noted,
so,
noted, noted.
Samantha, it's
Okay.
been a pleasure. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. And you really did. And I know people are going to get so much value out of what we talked about today. Where can people find you on social media?
So you can find us on Instagram at Straz Solutions. So it's Straz Solutions. And then you can find us on Facebook at Strazanac Solutions. There is a place called Straz Center in the United States, not associated with them. We're Strazanac.
Not that. Okay, awesome. Well, again, thank you so much. And guys, if you have not liked this video, please do so if you like the video, and subscribe to the 17 Hats channel. Till next time, guys, we'll be back with more awesome business owners like Samantha, and hopefully you can take something from this and go make it work in your business today. Thank you again. We'll see you soon.